So, what would happen if Billy Maximoff from the Marvel Cinematic Universe met Netflix's Wednesday Addams? Would they tear each other apart, or would they be stronger together? I am ScreenRant senior reporter Brennen Klein, and today we are here to discuss a possible crossover between two of the most iconic teenagers of modern pop culture.
I feel really optimistic about this.
Now, from my perspective, there's really only one way this would shake out. Of course, Billy and Wednesday would be friends. You don't have a poster for The Craft on your bedroom wall and not think Wednesday Addams is a really cool person. Obviously, they have a lot of things in common. They both have a similar kind of goth aesthetic. They're both very good at manipulating their friends and the other people around them. That last thing might cause some issues, but I think they might cancel each other out. Billy's ability to read minds will allow him to see Wednesday's intentions, while her power to see the future will show her how all of his possible schemes are going to play out. So I really think they would reach a stalemate and kind of have no choice but to become friends.
You should know I'm legally required to be here.
Here's how I see this crossover playing out. Maybe Billy arrives at Nevermore Academy looking for the Book of Shadows to see if it's as powerful or maybe even more powerful than the Darkhold. And she would quickly come to realize what an asset he is to her in helping her solve any problems around Jericho with his immense skills, even if he doesn't know how to control them very well. Speaking of controlling those powers, Nevermore Academy could be an asset to Billy. He might want to stick around, he might want to start taking classes. He would have to ask his parents for permission, but it's a better commute than the Witch's Road, so I think they'd say yes. And what would happen next? Well, obviously Wednesday could join Billy's coven. She is not strictly speaking a witch, but that hasn't really stopped anyone from joining a coven so far, as Agatha all along has shown.
I do tend to kill my coven members.
So do I.
And she does have divination powers. She could kind of become a replacement for Lilia after her tragic passing during the events of the show. Basically, the surviving members of the coven from that show could come back. We do have the ghost of Agatha. She could be the spirit witch. Jennifer Kale could return as the potions witch. Do we need a protection witch? If we do, maybe we'd bring Tyler along from Wednesday. His hide abilities could really come in handy, especially if he's not being controlled by someone, with bad intentions towards Wednesday. And what would their first order of business be? Obviously, finding Tommy. Now, Wednesday would be a huge asset for Billy's major goal from Agatha all along, and presumably any other place where he might appear in the MCU. Where Billy's powers kind of lie in creating things and fabricating things, and in his extremely dangerously powerful imagination. Wednesday's skills lie a lot more in detective work, so she would be really useful in helping track down Tommy. Additionally, Billy might have picked up some new skills during his studies at Nevermore Academy that could help them along their quest. And because we are now stepping more into the Marvel universe away from the Netflix's Wednesday universe, we're probably gonna have a big Marvel supervillain of some kind that we're gonna have to face off against. Billy could kind of take the lead on that with his superior magical ability, but Wednesday has also shown tremendous skill at dueling.
It's time to duel!
So she would be a very powerful asset on whatever road is next after the Witch's Road. Plus, whatever coven they put together would have a blast partying in their downtime. Obviously, we've seen from the Ballad of the Witch's Road and the 70s Ballad of the Witch's Road and every other version of the Witch's Road that the witches are really good at singing. Wednesday, maybe not a singer, I haven't seen it. I don't know if Jenna Ortega's got pipes on her or not, but we know she's a great dancer. So with the coven's spectacular harmonies, even minus Patti LuPone, Wednesday could dance along. That sounds like a great bonfire to me.
Down the Witch's Road.
But here comes the big question. Could this crossover actually happen? I mean, the short answer is no. Obviously, Netflix has collaborated with Marvel before with the Defenders universe. They have shows like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, The Punisher. Netflix has actually worked with Marvel a whole bunch, but that's not happening anymore. Those shows have been ported over to Disney Plus, which is also where Agatha all along lives. Disney Plus doesn't have a relationship with Netflix. It has a relationship with Hulu because both streamers are owned by Disney, but not with Netflix. And in addition to being a Netflix show, Wednesday is a production of MGM Television, which is associated with Amazon MGM Studios, which is obviously associated with Prime Video. There's just too many streamers in the mix. It seems really unlikely to happen, even though ratings could be huge.
I'm bummed you're a bummer.
That's a bummer.
Wednesday Season 1 is currently Netflix's most watched television season of all time, with more than 1.5 billion hours viewed and more than 250 million viewers. It beat Stranger Things Season 4, which only had 140 million viewers. And Agatha All Along, while not showcasing that kind of numbers, it did have the best audience retention rate for any Marvel Cinematic Universe show, even the ones that had higher numbers during their debuts. So obviously that means that people are sticking around for these characters, and they probably want to hear more from Billy, and also Agatha and Jennifer Kale if they get to come along on this crossover adventure.
We should really go like right now.
Which means that audiences were sticking around for the show, they wanted to follow the continued adventures of those characters, and they'll probably want to follow Billy to another show, even if it feels different. But especially if we could bring in Agatha Harkness, Jennifer Kale, other characters from Wednesday, that could be a powerful crossover with a very strong potential for viewership. Additionally, both shows have really great reviews. Wednesday Season 1 has a 73% score on Rotten Tomatoes, with an 85% audience score, even better, both totally fresh.
5 stars, certified fresh.
And Agatha is a certified fresh 83% from critics, with a perfectly matching 83% from audiences. That's really strong across the board. So them coming together, why wouldn't it be reviewed quite as well? I mean, obviously there are very many reasons that it couldn't, but if they follow the structure that I have laid out, it could be incredible.
That's incredible. You are incredible.
So, tell me, do you think that a Wednesday and Agatha All Along crossover could be magical, or do you think it would be forgotten as quickly as Agatha forgets Mrs. Hart's real name? Let us know in the comments, and keep watching Screen Rant.